I made a video just a couple of weeks ago talking about my experience with the iPhone 14 Pro Max 9 months after its release. And that video was a mostly negative video talking about how I've been having a ton of problems with my device. Now, the one thing that's kind of crappy about that video is that after updating to the iOS 17 developer beta, I haven't actually been experiencing half of those problems that I've had with the device. So it's been a really weird thing, and I figured I might as well clear the air because I do kind of want to keep my reputation clean on this channel. I mean, who wouldn't? Regardless though, I just wanted to make a quick sit down video and explain some of the things that I've had going wrong with this phone and talk to you about whether or not it's actually worth it today. Before we get into it though, a like and a sub to the channel would be greatly appreciated. It's actually becoming really hard to keep track of all of these videos, and with everything that's going on in my life, like my wedding that's coming up, we're moving, there's just so much going on, and having to think about this content and stuff like that, it really does add a lot to my plate. But I'm never gonna miss an upload, and I'm gonna keep the same schedule for now until I actually do get settled where I plan to actually upload more. So currently, if you're unaware, I upload every single Thursday at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you enjoy the content that I make, a like and a sub to the channel is always appreciated, and your support is just absolutely amazing. So thank you all for watching. Let's get right back into it. Anyways though, I feel like we need to rewind a little bit because I think it's only fair. My iPhone 14 Pro Max was having a ton of issues, and I would say the one that I made the biggest deal about is cell reception. Now, oddly enough, I've been having cell reception issues with this device pretty much since its release date, and it doesn't really matter like what time of day it is, where I am necessarily. There was always problems, at least in this general area. And when I updated to the iOS 17 developer beta, I noticed that my phone calls started to go through a little bit. I noticed some changes in the speed of my connection, and I noticed that the bars were actually increasing in this den, which has been the biggest problem and absolute shit show for this device. I've not had any other devices experience this issue, but it really plagued this iPhone, and it was one of the biggest reasons why I genuinely couldn't even use this as a personal device if I really wanted to, because I rely on my phone a lot, especially for all of the doctor's appointments and stuff that I've had to schedule ever since having my seizure last year. And it's not been reliable, and it's been something that I've been extremely worried about it. That being said though, oddly enough, on iOS 17, it's been a little bit better, and it seems for the most part to have been fixed. I don't really know why, considering it's a developer beta. I'm not entirely sure if anything has actually changed, but it definitely has, and the reception is definitely better. Another issue that I had with the device, which I just absolutely couldn't stand, was that lately my battery life had just been absolutely tanking. I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, but I was able to sit outside and watch this battery drain for like 15% within 20 minutes of just using it while sitting outside of the mall. I've never had that problem with the phone before, and I thought, it is a hot day, whatever. That could be a part of the reason as to why it's degrading so quickly. But I was actually at the cottage. We rented a cottage for my bachelor party this weekend, and I didn't have a single issue in the sun with this phone, and my battery had been completely reliable, which is kind of crazy to think about because literally the other week I wasn't really able to use this thing as my daily driver, and now two of my biggest concerns on the iOS 17 developer beta seem to have completely fixed this phone for me. I'm not entirely sure if this is gonna stay this way. I'm kind of tempted to keep this as an ongoing update service that I do, because it is just really weird. And another thing that I want to mention though is that with this phone I had a lot of bugs, like sometimes opening the camera app, it just wouldn't initialize the camera and it would be a black screen. And then other times, I would open a text, I wouldn't be able to respond to it, or I'd open an app and I couldn't navigate out of the app because it would just completely freeze. there was a lot of these issues that have happened pretty much since the release of iOS 16 on this phone. And like I said, everything in conjunction has really made this a difficult device to carry around. And it's a really big part of the reason as to why I didn't. But I don't know what it is. And this part is the weirdest part, because when it comes to bugs, you would think that the developer beta would probably ruin the device when it comes to stability. But I've noticed that this developer beta is far more stable than the actual public release had ever been. And I don't know why that is the case. I don't know what necessarily has changed, but the stability and performance of the device ever since updating it has just completely changed. And I feel like this has got back its kind of like iPhone-esque reliability, and it's just really nice to see, because this phone has basically been a glorified camera for me ever since I got in it, because there was no way I was going to choose to use this over every other device that I have. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't necessarily know if this is going to be my end-all be-all and this is what I carry from now on. I am really happy to see that this has actually gotten better, but I feel like it's a little too late for that. The new iPhone's around the corner. There's new devices that I'm definitely going to be picking up, like the Galaxy Z Fold 5. And there's just a lot more that's coming out that is way more appealing to me, except for the Pixel Fold, because that just isn't available in Canada for some reason. It is really upsetting that this has completely tainted my experience when it comes to the iPhone though. Because like I said, before starting this channel, I had always been basically a primary iPhone user, and whether there was a device that I would carry or have two phones, the iPhone always had my primary SIM. But it wasn't until playing around with the S22 Ultra and S23 Ultra and those phones that I actually ended up making the switch completely. And ever since then, I just don't really feel like I'm going to go back. That being said, I guess this makes my 10-month update video with the iPhone 14 Pro Max. If you enjoyed it, or perhaps you even want to see or hear more about this device, let me know in the comments below. This video, like I said, is just unscripted. I wanted to talk and share my experience with the phone because I feel like I didn't want to wrong anyone with that previous video. So I'm just glad that, you know, at least this one is up there in case people see it and you can kind of make your own opinions based off of that. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.